Hey everyone! If you're enjoying the coverage of the Pro Play Tour online series, just remember, you can play in one yourself. Every Thursday you can enter our free weekly 64-player tournament with invites to the entire Top Cut. Every Saturday is our weekend championship, where you can enter a YCS-type event with 100% payout and even a cash payout option. The more players, the bigger the prizes. Can't commit time to play in our one-day events? We also host multiple 8-man pods daily, ready to fire on demand on your own schedule. All these events award invites to our free invite-only Players Championship, May 9th through 10th, with prizes supplied by our sponsors. For more information, visit ppgeventmanagement.com and come play with the pros.
Top 16 of the Pro Play Tour Weekend Championship. I'm MADOLCHES, joined by Joseph Rothschild, and oh boy, do we have a match for you. So for this match, we have MADOLCHES in the top 16 going up against Adamancipators. Not only one MADOLCHES topped, but two, as a matter of fact. That top 16 breakdown was 7 Eldritch, 6 Adamancipators, 2 MADOLCHES, who would have thought that, and a dinosaur. So we are excited. It's Sunday, and we are going to just bring you some amazing commentary. Apparently, YuGiOh, the MADOLCHES player, his only loss yesterday was to Cyber Dragon. He beat every other meta matchup he played against.
Wait, are you kidding me? That's the only thing that beat him?
That's what he told me.
Wow.
He literally just told me that seconds before we started. Yes.
I'm so excited. I mean, YuGiOh has been rolling this tournament blinding second, so I don't think they're too beat up about having to play against Adamancipator. I mean, Adamancipator is Adamancipator. You can't show up without a going second playing against this deck, no matter what board they end on.
Right, and so we're going to start with Jubbrail here. He used a copy of Automata Pickup to get Automata Pair, and then he used that pair to discard a Gigas to get a copy of Dodododorf Go 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 Glove, as well as a Zubababancho Gagaga Coat. I don't know how I said that.
Thank you so much. I was trying to learn the name of this card. I couldn't do it. I was like, Alex, you're just going to have to say this one. And you did a great job.
And so we're going to see this Gallant Granite and see if it resolves. It looks like it's going to. One of the interesting things about YuGiOh's deck specifically is that he's playing a very interesting version here, playing a lot of different types of cards. And so I'm curious to see how he can end up navigating this board here.
Yeah, not trying to spoil too much here, but YuGiOh's deck is, of course, spicy. I will say the problem with Adamancipator specifically is that the idea of the way that we interrupt boards is just absolutely false when it comes to this deck. Like, you cannot interact with it like you would interact with anything else that's meta. You can't rely on like a hand trap to stop their plays, or even 2 hand traps to stop their plays, as we saw a lot yesterday. You are much better off going for these huge equalizers, things like Dark Ruler No More, Kaijus, evenly matched, after they have already established their board and winning the game from that position. You know, no individual piece of negation is going to be able to stop them.
And so Jubbrail's just resolving his Block Dragon now that he used to link off for a Nightmare Cerberus. We got a just absolute slew of cards here. We got a Gigantes as one of them. We're going to banish the Gallant Granite out of the graveyard to get that to the board. Now we're able to bring out Adamancipator Researcher. Using its effect, Researcher can then dig 5 cards deeper. And there's a Quackimero Guardian, so at the very least, that can shut down some monster effects if we want. So it looks like Jubbrail's going to pick that. That's one of the unfair things about this deck, is that if you get lucky with an early Adamancipator Excavation and hit Quackimero Guardian specifically, it then insulates you from Nibiru pre-5 summons. It stops Ash Blossom. It stops every other hand trap in the game, basically, apart from Infinite Impermanence, and really makes it so that your opponent's not going to be able to do anything as long as that Quackimero Guardian remains on the field until they pivot into an Appaloosa, which is ultimately going to be what's on their end board regardless.
Yeah, this deck is unfair for a lot of reasons, but in my opinion, the number one reason is that it plays so effectively through Nibiru. If you're activating Nibiru before they go into an Appaloosa or a Quackimero Guardian, which, you know, statistically they probably hit on like their second or third excavate, then you're Nibiruing a board that they can very easily recover from. Like, decks can make several negates through that Nibiru token because it's a rock and enables a Researcher followed by a Seeker summon. If you are Nibiruing after the point where they've already invested a lot into building their end board, it includes a Quackimero Guardian, it includes an Appaloosa, and there's nothing you can do anymore. It's just awful.
Yeah, and so here we go. Now we're just seeing Jubbrail slowly start to assemble his end board. Now we get to see the newly released Link Cross coming out of Eternity Code. We're going to get to see the power of this card now as we get rid of this Mecha Phantom Beast Alliant, as well as one of the tokens from Link Cross to make Martial Metal Marcher probably one of the unsung heroes of the weekend.
I would say that Martial Metal Marcher is definitely the standout card of this tournament. It's previously been featured in a lot of unfair synchro combos, but it's shocking to see those combos become mainstream excellent way to maneuver link cross tokens into additional summons, summon synchros that then become tuners, specifically important in this deck. I mean, it just does everything. Now that it doesn't matter that our opponent might have a Nibiru in the hand, let's go ahead and fire off the Raptite, sending that Koakai Myru Guardian to the graveyard. Again, it can just be used as synchro material, doesn't have to stay on the field forever.
Yeah, and a bit of a well, I mean, I guess you can get the Block Dragon off this Raptite here, or did he actually? You know, did he whip?
No, I don't think you can.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a
I
whiff.
think- oh
Wow.
no, that is because it can be special summon. Yeah, so no, he whiffed 4 spells and the
Whiffing
Block
off
Dragon.
a
Yeah, so
Raptite? When was the last time you saw
yeah.
that happen?
I was gonna say that's what I'm just assuming Raptite's just gonna be able to summon anything at this point. But yeah, a whiff, a very rare whiff out of Adamancipator. It's not impossible, of course, but it's gonna be rough here. We're gonna get rid of this Link Cross here for a Nightmare Phoenix. Looks like we're trying to just get ourselves some zones here so that we can continue to make some space for some more monsters to get onto the board.
Miserable. This is not very good. I mean, it looks like
Yeah, I mean,
be the end of the turn, and it's what insulation from battle, a block dragon, one negate, and then several monster negates. Like if you have negations specifically for this copy of Appaloosa, you can easily out this board.
right. I mean, we still do have the Herald as well, but yeah, just with this, I mean, there's no Masquerena here as well to trigger the Block Dragon on the opponent's turn. Masquerena would also represent a threat in itself, being something like Unicorn to spin something away. Not the strongest board necessarily.
No.
So we're gonna see if Ghoul can capitalize on this. He still does have to play through 3 monster negates, as well as a Herald of the Arclight. So it is going to be a little bit difficult, but it's not impossible. Again, his only loss yesterday was to Cyber Dragon, as he told me.
That's a good
and
start.
Infinite Impermanence is definitely a good start. This might just prompt the Herald of Arclight's negation here, just because he needs something to. It depends if he values the monster effect negation or if he values that. But it looks like he is going to value 3 monster effect negations. Yep. I think that's a correct play. Call by the Grave, though, for the Herald of the Arclight. Oh my God! So that means the Appaloosa is going to lose all of its counter or its attack power and its. Yep, and so now here comes Madolche Angeli, and this is pretty much going to be clear to go off. One of the big weaknesses of combo decks is that they don't really play hand traps or any sort of disruption for these types, because they're trying to play as many extenders as possible, right? You want to have as many extenders to play through your opponent's disruption and effectively end the board by building end the game rather by building an unbreakable board. So now we see Madolche Angeli come down, sacrifice itself as a lone fire for the archetype to summon Madolche Petting Cesseur. When she's special summoned, she can bring out Pudding Cess from the deck, making its level 4, and now we can overlay for Madolche Teacher Glass Souffle.
So this is going to be really difficult. Glass Souffle has to activate in a very particular way here. Despite the fact that almost all the negates are gone, Adamancipator Risen Raptide, because there's a wind monster in the graveyard, is a DD Crow. And all of these effects of the Madolches in the graveyard to shuffle back into the deck are activated effects. So if they respond to the activated effect to shuffle with the DD Crow effect of Raptide, they'll potentially be able to prevent a Chocolate a la mode activation, which could prevent the Madolche player from OTKing. You have to be cognizant of that. That's an effect on Raptide that people often forget about. And you also have to be cognizant of the fact that none of their monsters are going to be able to be destroyed by battle, necessarily the Appaloosa and the Nightmare Phoenix. Looks like we're activating the effect of Glass Souffle here, triggering itself, and we'll see if we activate the other effect to shuffle them back. If you shuffle the Metal Marcher back, then Raptide is off, I believe. Oh no, there's 2 wins.
Right, so it looks like he got rid of the Dodo Dwarf, Go Glove, and the Quakimeru Guardian. We're now just going to overlay for Pudding Cess Choco a la mode here. This card is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
It's not once per turn. If you're able to just shuffle back a Madolche card, it's able to detach a material and summon a Madolche from deck. And here we go. We're going to see right here. Oh, we're going to see the Raptide activation.
A bit of a misstep. I mean, dang. I don't know if that was pre-Chocolate a la mode activation. If it is, then that's still fine. You can detach an Xyz material from this to target a Madolche in the graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and proc its own effect. If it's in response to the effect activation, boy, that's awful. And actually, it doesn't matter anyway because Drew Chateau.
Yes, so Chateau on activation shuffles all Madolche monsters from the graveyard into the deck, which then triggers Madolche Choco a la mode, which is effectively part of the main combo. But in this particular instance, it doesn't matter anyway. So we shuffle back, Madolche Choco a la mode triggers. We're going to detach the Glass Souffle, and now we get to special summon from deck. Here, I think we're going to go for... do you go for Hoot Cake at this point?
Yes, no. So this combo is completely mapped out from this position. You go for Hoot Cake, you're able to banish the Glass Souffle. You're able to get a copy of Messengelato.
Messengelato.
You can get a ticket or the double summon based on what's in your hand. You can set up an unbelievable board with Tierra Masseuse from a double Messengelato summon. I mean, things are getting good from this position.
Yeah, so we banished the Glass Souffle. We're going to get the Messengelato as Telegraph. Messengelato on summon allows us to add a Madolche spell or trap from deck to hand if we control a beast, which Hoot Cake happens to be. At this point, we can add, like Joseph said, depending on what else is in Ghoul's hand here. So a Madolche Salon, the new card out of Eternity Code, which gives the deck an extra normal summon to allow it to extend further. Also allowing you to set up with a Madolche Trap, Madolche Promenade, which is an effect negation effectively. We also still have the potential to trigger this Chocolate Aloe mode again if we have another way to shuffle monsters back into the deck. So Salon was our target here. We're going to activate that, and we're going to see if we have an additional normal summon here out of Ghoul.
So notably, the normal includes, wow, an extra Angeli. That's insane. Notably, the normal combo includes a Chateau as an extender, but having to use the Chateau in order to facilitate the main combo because the Petiting Sessur in the graveyard was targeted by the Raptide means that it's going to be a lot harder to OTK. Still not impossible. Tiramisu does a lot of heavy lifting.
Yep. So Queen Tiramisu, the quote-unquote boss monster, I guess you could say, of Madolche. Incredibly powerful card. Detach and Xyz material, target 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard. Shuffle those cards into the deck. Also, shuffle the opponent's cards into the deck based off the cards you shuffle. So then you are able to then go ahead and here we're going to actually link off into Sistart before we even use that effect. Sistart, the Madolche Link monster. And yeah, things are about to get a little bit crazy.
Yeah, so Sistart does lock you into Madolche. So we are now, I believe, no, one of these cards locks you into Madolche. Petiting Sessur, I don't know. Regardless, there's not going to be like a Boral Sword at the end of this combo.
Right. I mean, but effectively, Ghoul's whole objective at this point is to just clear everything off the board. And that's one of the nice things is that by being able to have a card like Queen Tiramisu, you can shuffle stuff back like Block Dragon, so that way it doesn't trigger during his turn, so that way Jabril can capitalize on it. He could be able to clean up this board rather easily and just dispatch of most of these threats. Some of them aren't even threats at this point, but he wants to make sure he clears off the cards that are going to do stuff during the opponent's turn. I think the priority number ones right now are Block Dragon and Raptide.
Yeah, I would actually consider doing Block Dragon and Nightmare Phoenix. If you have removal for Raptide in the form of a monster that attacks, you could also do that. Just don't want my opponent to be able to protect their co-linked monsters, though battle isn't necessarily as important as other forms of interaction. This will trigger Salon as well, I believe, which allows a set of the Promenade, as you were saying earlier, or the Knights if they're feeling particularly spicy.
So we're going to see what his choice is here. I think they both players might just be discussing how Salon works here.
Right. Replacement effects are hard to manage in this game.
Right, and these players are both in a chat, but there we go. There's Phoenix and Block Dragon. Right, so that's also, yeah, Phoenix was like definitely up there as well just because it represents more link material to use, but Raptide's effect can fire again next turn, so we want to dispatch of that as well if we can. Can we? I don't think so. If we're going for Promenade, I would highly doubt it.
So Promenade could potentially put the Pudding Cess under this copy of Chocolate a la Mode if we make another one with Queen over the Queen Tiramisu. But like that's a turn off.
Right.
I mean, we might just be leaving the Raptide or negating its effect with Promenade, which is not the worst thing in the universe.
Looks like Jabril is just taking a quick look at Madolche Promenade before Ghoul set it to the field. Basically, it's just Yep, there's Chocolate mode. Effectively, it's Promenade's just a monster effect negation, but it's pretty cool because it also has an in-graveyard effect where you can target a Madolche XC and attach a Madolche monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard to that monster. We're going to battle here. We're going to have Sistart attack over the Appaloosa.
And we will get over the Raptide with the Chocolate a la Mode because of the 500 boost from Madolche Chateau. Well, I mean, this is a pretty good setup.
Yeah, we're pretty clean here. We have an effect negation at the very least. 2 cards in hand, or excuse me, drawing to 3 for Jabril. We're going to go ahead and reveal this copy of Adamancipator Analyzer here. The Cyber Dragon.
Not the end of the world.
Yep, it's fine. I mean, you'd expect this, especially because since Block Dragon is in the deck, it does have so well. But Sanctum in the main deck coming down from Ghoul, this could just lock it up entirely because without their extra deck, Adamancipator really doesn't have a lot going for it.
Wow, that's killer. I mean, I can't imagine that's not the end of the game. They're going to go for Analyzer and no reason to use Promenade here. You're just waiting for an equalizer in the form of a spell or a trap. No amount of monsters is going to be able to out this. Oh, you know what? I'm throwing caution to the winds. I'll Promenade you. Forget you.
So Yep. So we're going to go ahead and negate that activation of Analyzer. And then also we get to add a copy of a MADOLCHES card back to our hand in
Mhm.
addition to that, because we also have to target a MADOLCHES card. So that's nice. We get to recur some resources in addition to negating an effect. And then also, because something was added back to the hand, it triggers the Salon to get another Promenade out of the deck.
Infinite. Remember when Pudding Cess was
And
like
that's
the
it.
win condition?
Still looking to earn your invite for the free Players Championship on May 9th and 10th? Visit ppgeventmanagement.com to learn about the different qualifiers available. From one-day events to play on your own schedule events, all events offer a buyback or cash option along with a 100% credit option redeemable towards any future pre-order at competitive prices. Grinding and getting paid to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never been easier. Play with the most professional worldwide tournament series today and join the online community. Come join us on Discord for assistance, info, and even discussions about future events.
Here we go. Game number 2. Jabril is going to opt to go first because it's Adamancipators.
Yeah.
There's very few instances where you don't want to go first. Maybe we're going to see Ghoul just 2-0 here in about 10 minutes. We're going to fire off Upstart Goblin, so Ghoul's going to get a little bit of life gain there. Not going to really matter too much if the board is completely unbreakable. But, you know, we want to have as consistent of a deck as possible, and Upstart has always been good at that.
So I'm looking at Ghoul's deck right now, and again, it's really built to dismantle these going first archetypes, but it only gets better out of the board. They've got a ton of stuff that will specifically interact with Adamancipator in positive ways. They'll be able to take out some of the targeted cards in the main deck that are meant for when the deck has to go first, things like the Sanctum and Solemn Judgments. And I honestly would expect a more focused MADOLCHES combo in this game, even than we saw last time.
And so Jabril, starting out very similarly to how he did in game 1, we got a Dodododorf Go 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 glove as well as a Zubababa coat, or Zubababa Bancho Gaga coat. Excuse me.
Thank you so much.
How could I mess that up?
Your service
going into
is immaculate.
Going into Gallant Granite, we're going to go ahead and also fire off this Adamancipator Researcher here to get a copy of Quackimir Guardian. So again, just like we've seen before, getting those summons onto the board before Nibiru can really do anything to us. And now we're basically protected. Here comes Crystron Howlet Fibrax. Now we can do our Needle Fiber plays. We're going to be able to go into our Link Rot. Like, there is just so much we are able to do with this deck, and so consistently at well. I mean, Jabril's probably been doing this all weekend. So, I mean, he's probably extremely well-versed at this point. Here comes the Link Ross. We're going to get the tokens. We're going to sync off into Martial Metal Marcher. Again, it's going to look almost identical to what we saw here in Game 1.
So Martial Metal Marcher, of course, lets you summon a tuner from your graveyard in defense, and you negate its effects, but that doesn't matter. And then the token plus the Reborn Olion plus the additional token from Link Ross will make the Raptite. That's a pretty explosive setup. The Raptite will fire, and hopefully we don't whiff this time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Seeker would be good, of course.
Yeah, Seeker would be good. Analyzer's fine.
Looks like
just
they're
another level 4 here would also be good. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay.
Everything. Yeah, that's everything.
So, Analyzer, Doki. Yeah, I mean, you're feeling pretty good about this one.
Yep, going for.
So we're gonna go for Analyzer.
Doki kind of introduces this weird choke point into a setup that otherwise doesn't have it. So I do like going into Analyzer here. You want to be cycling through all 3 of those Adamancipator effects over the course of the turn. And wow, a Gigas is going to be really fantastic as well.
Yep, because we already have Dododorf, Go Go Glove, and Grave. So now those 2 cards will be able to like tag each other out and just summon one another. So that's pretty nice. There's so many things we can do at this point. We're going to link off the Link Ross and the Martial Metal Marcher, and that gives us a Link 3 play, I believe. Or no, Link 2 play, excuse me. Link 3 once we... Oh no, we're just going straight for the 4 material Appaloosa at this point.
Yeah, no reason to send that copy of Guardian to the graveyard for anything other than Appaloosa, of course.
Correct.
Keeping Nibiru insurance on board for as long as possible. And Jabril is saying, listen, you're going to have a similar out to this copy of Appaloosa, except this time I'm going to have it backed up by more important cards.
So now here we go. We had the Seeker in hand, so that solves that. Must be nice, right?
Yeah.
Now we can fire off the Seeker effect. Dig a bit more deeper.
I've ever played against.
So not the best hit here. I mean,
Yeah,
Doki Doki's
fine. It makes a Herald.
Yeah.
It potentially summons a 4. You can go into a Herald. You have the DD Crow effect of the Raptite. You can make a rank 4 with the Gigas and the Dodododorf Go 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 Glove. And if you draw the Block Dragon, things are just going to get better from there. Oh, okay.
They always have it in hand, right? Even if you think
Yeah.
like they didn't get to it.
I remember
Oh,
early
man.
Adamancipator decks were only playing one copy of this card to search off the Granite or the Union Carrier. They've kind of migrated to 3. They're like, why would I only play one copy of the best card in my deck? I could just draw it instead of searching.
And so now we're going to go for Union Carrier. Are we going to see a Dragon Buster Destruction Sword lock?
It is in the deck. Dragon Buster Destruction Sword only
Ooh.
has one target. You have to, before you activate the effective Union Carrier, go into specifically Borreload Savage.
Borreload. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to bring back this Dododorf Go-Go Glove because we have the Gigas on the field. We're going to overlay those. Maybe for a, I don't know, maybe Dweller, I guess.
Dweller's
Yeah,
fine.
that's usually the likely candidate. Yep, Dweller's fine. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this Seeker here. As well as the Raptite, go for
This is an 8.
Savage.
Yep.
So there's the Savage. Now we can use Union Carrier, equip the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword from the deck, lock Ghoul out. We're going to first equip Halifibrax to the Savage Dragon, though, to give it some negations. It's Union Carrier, man. What a card.
This is so frustrating. I mean, this is one of those setups that doesn't even have to activate anything to access its negates, right? You've got a domain lock and you've got an activation of this Abyss Dweller, even without your opponent like Dark Ruler No Mooring. Like, if they fire a big equalizer like that, what does it really do outside of stopping the Appaloosa specifically?
So we're going to shotgun this Abyss Dweller in standby phase. Makes sense. We don't want to wait for any Dark Ruler No More to just ruin our day here because, to be fair, that card does actually do something here. However, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword is still online, so it's not even as good as you would think in that particular instance, but this is definitely much better than his board was previously, I would say.
Yeah, Dweller does feel like game over. Those effects to shuffle back into the deck are activated, and you do have to access a couple of them over the course of the combo. So Abyss Dweller is, in a lot of ways, a really novel way to force the MADOLCHES player into rethinking their combo lines. Now, if you're MADOLCHES, you are well-versed at going second, even through hate. So I am interested to see what they drew into and how they're going to navigate it. And that's a good start.
Oh, that Godarla is a good start. We're going to get rid of the Borreload Savage Dragon. That also turns our extra deck back on here. So that's going to be a good... Yeah, I mean, if we have Imperm or any way to remove this Appaloosa, unfortunately, we still have Dweller to worry about as well.
Right.
But, I mean, at least we have the main threats off the board, and you really can't complain about that.
No, for sure. I mean... it's rough. It's a hard one for sure. You know, Mangeline is fine, but is also a negation magnet.
Correct. So it looks like that's going to eat a negate. That also uses the normal summon, which is very important for MADOLCHES. However, Salon kind of mitigates that. We're just going to go to battle phase here. Just attempt to swing over this Union Carrier with Mangeline, do 400 damage, and that's not looking too good.
Well, if they're on any floodgates in particular, flipping them up in the draw phase does restrict the movement of the Adamancipator player, but the Cosmic Cyclone in the end step, this does seem like it's the end of the game.
I was going to say, if there is a Sanctum back there, okay, Called by the Grave. If there were to be a Sanctum, although I don't know why Ghoul would keep that in knowing he was going second. Sanctum would potentially stave off an OTK. Oh, second Cosmic Cyclone. Here we go.
Well, let's see what it is.
We're going to find out.
It's got to be chainable.
I'd imagine it's probably just another Call by the Grave. Maybe.
Oh,
wow. So Ghoul doesn't even want to reveal it. So maybe it was a card out of the side deck that he didn't want to show that he was on. But MADOLCHES has the option to go first. And I'm curious to see if Ghoul is going to pick that.
Oh, yeah.
He is. Ghoul is going to go first this time around.
So I'm looking at the deck right now. Ghoul is not on a ton of stuff that's specifically good going first, but they're on enough. All you really have to do is assemble a halfway competent MADOLCHES combo, and Angeli is a way to do that, backed up with like maybe 1 or 2 trap cards.
If one of those trap cards is also specifically Artifact Sanctum, that could just win the game.
It's just to win the game. Yeah.
So here we go, starting off with Angeli. Angeli effectively represents full combo here. We're going to special summon Petting Cessor. Petting Cessor on special summon will get out our Pudding Cess from the deck, making it level 4. That we can go into Glass Souffle. That starts off our entire combo. The main starting combo for MADOLCHES is actually colloquially titled the Wall. It effectively just sets up a bunch of big, floating, hard to deal with cards that make it very difficult to get OTK'd through because all the cards themselves are so recursive or just replace themselves if they were to get destroyed. And they also have very somewhat sizable defense values on top of that.
Now, a little crusty. One thing about playing a deck that's as old as MADOLCHES is you don't have adequate answers to cards that were printed recently. And while Adamancipator has fantastic Nibiru insurance, this deck does not. Nibiru at any point during this combo is going to effectively represent, if not the end of the turn, the end of the game.
So we're going to see Choco mode come down. We're going to use that effect. We're going to detach, and that allows us to go ahead and get Hoot Cake out of the deck. Hoot Cake is going to banish the Glass Souffle to get Mess and Gelato. This is very reminiscent of the game one that we saw with Ghoul, except where he went he went second rather instead of first. But instead of just trying to break apart the board, he's just going to be building one, set up his MADOLCHE Promenade, so that way he has at least one effect negation and whatever else he may have in his hand.
Of course, it's not entirely optimal. You want to start with either a Mangeline or not using your normal summon until late in the combo, using the Angeli right before the Hoot Cake here. But it's still pretty good. Like, this is about as strong as MADOLCHE can manage going first. You're going to get a Chateau here, shuffle back that Angeli, trigger the Chocolate a la mode again, get another Mess and Gelato, get a Salon, activate an effect that shuffles in order to get a Promenade, end on a Sistart, a Chocolate a la mode, a Glass Souffle. Like, it's pretty good.
Right, and it's still something that, again, it doesn't look like the most intimidating board. Like, it doesn't look like an Adamancipator board with, like, all these... Yeah, it's not like these, like, Appaloosa for 4, 5 billion negation boards. It pretty much only represents a couple forms of interaction, but it's still very difficult just to play through all of that unless you have just some huge haymakers coming out of the side deck, which is still possible.
And if
we'll have to see what Jabril ended up
just an OTK.
Right. So we're going to get our second copy of Mess and Gelato now. This will allow us to, I imagine, get Salon. Yes, okay. So there's Salon. Salon will then be activated, and then at some point, we get our copy of Promenade off of that. Salon also fixes one of the big issues with MADOLCHE bestowing an extra normal summon, because remember, in older versions of MADOLCHE, for players who might have played back in the day, they actually play double summon. So that's how important the normal summon is. So what's better than double summon? A double summon that has the MADOLCHE tag on it. It's continuous and also searches for your spells and traps in your deck as well.
So I don't remember if we activated Glass Souffle this turn. If we did, then we are in a slightly worse position than we would be otherwise. It is a bit of Nibiru insurance, just kind of the same way that Dora is. If not, this is just going to have to be enough. Going to set 2 here. All right, what did we say? The wall backed up with a couple of traps would be enough to do it. Let's hope that those traps are any good.
Yeah, those traps are going to have to be spectacular to be able to fend this off. Again, it's like this board isn't like... It's very innocuous. It's much better than it appears to be. So normal summoning Go Gigas here.
That's pretty good. I mean, you like to see the normal summon spent on something like that as opposed to something like, I don't know, a combo starter.
This also turns off Imperm. So if you do have Sanctum, you can cite. Here comes a Petting Cesur of Jabril's own. I love that this deck in particular does play Petting Cesur because it wants a free level 4 just to be able to make Gallant Granite to be able to get access to our entire deck. We're going to see Granite Resolves. We know there's a Promenade on the field, so I imagine this is just going to be a magnet for that.
I don't actually know if we know there's a Promenade. Salon, I don't think activated last turn.
Oh, you're right.
Getting
correct.
From the deck. But I would expect that one of these 2 set cards is a Promenade. Apparently, the other one is not a Sanctum, so we will have a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! To play here.
Right, because if there was a Sanctum, it's Imperm.
Oh, awful. Imperm
but Red Reboot. Wow.
Yeah, that's rough.
That might just be the blow.
That's really bad, but honestly, not the end of the game. You can see the Red Reboot hasn't finished resolving. Is it a Solemn?
That's the only card he could use in response to this Red Reboot here.
No. Looks like he's going to go set a trap from deck. And the Glass Souffle is going to have to put in a ton of work here. No ticket on field means that there won't be a way to respecial these girls. They are protected from battle, I believe, by Fresh Sistart.
I believe so.
But they aren't protected, as we were talking about earlier, from Dragite's effect.
MADOLCHE Sistart says MADOLCHE spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target them with card effects. So there's no battle protection here.
Yeah, you're right. So there's no battle protection, and there's no protection from effects that don't destroy and don't target, which Dragite is, of course, the most poignant example of. A whiff on the Researcher.
I mean, that's a good start. If there's any way that Ghoul is going to be able to come back from this, having whiffs on these Adamancipator cards could be it, because there is a slight degree of variance. Halifibrax represents an effective full link cross link combo going into all the crazy plays that it's able to do. So he's not out of the woods, but definitely having that Researcher whiff helps significantly here. We're going to summon this O-Lion off of Halifibrax. We can then get rid of that to make link cross. We can sink into Martial Metal Marcher. All the traps are turned off at this point.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think if the set card is called by the grave, we could still potentially live. We don't know the one in the same column as the Halifibrax specifically.
Correct. That was the card that could have potentially been a Solemn Judgment. Okay, so if your Ghoul, if that set card is a Solemn Judgment, do you just flip that and just make sure? Because the issue with Judgment in its own right is that it puts you at 4K and makes it easier for Jabrail to OTK you.
Well, we can't Judgment because of Red Reboot.
Oh, I meant did you Judgment the Red Reboot? That's what I was specifically referring to.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's a hard call to make. I mean, I've played a lot of Control decks, a lot of Guru specifically, that's always in this scenario, and I tend to err on the side of firing Judgment, but you're right in that it does feel bad. You know, if you do Judgment here, you're basically just a hop, a skip, and a Boral Sword away from being dead anyway.
Well, Dragite especially, because Dragite could just make sure everything. We're going to Glass Souffle here in response. So Glass Souffle has a quick effect to shuffle a card in either graveyard back into the deck. This is basically like this is like a pseudo DD Crow effect, but it's kind of better in some ways because it does return to the deck.
All right, so it looks like they're going to target the Fresh Sistart in terms of cards that are now.
I'm sorry, it's two cards, not just one. Excuse me.
Right. In terms of cards that are now going to be unaffected, the Sistart is number 1. We're going to put the Gigas back in deck. That's a good target, but not the best. Again, it's got to be kind of called by the grave or bust for that set card, I think.
Do you think we're potentially trying to reduce the Earth count in the graveyard for Block Dragon?
Oh, that's hilarious. I don't know if it's very good. I mean,
well, if he does. If he doesn't have the Earths, he won't be able to get the Block Dragon to get more resources. So, like, maybe that's the play?
Is there an Earth you can go into by sinking here? I think the targets are the Martial Metal, right? That's wind. It's going to bring back the wind, go into a Raptite. I mean, if the Raptite whiffs, you really don't have access to another Earth monster unless you've got one in hand. It could happen.
And he's already normal summoned Gigas.
It could happen. I mean, we saw the Raptite whiff first.
So now we're going to see the resolution of MADOLCHES Salon here. This is going to get the ticket. Unfortunately, I believe is the ticket set. Yes, yeah. So it's not going to be immediately active. That would have been very good if it would have been, because that would have special summon these cards. And so now we have Martial Metal Marcher. We can get back this O-Lion.
Oh, is it active? Hold up.
I think is there something in response here, or
oh no, correct here. So Salon usually targets when Glass Souffle fires, or usually fires after Glass Souffle, but Glass didn't return any of the MADOLCHES. It just turned opponent's cards.
Oh, correct, because he was just using his opponents. Okay, so now we're going to go for Herald of the Arclight here with the Metal Marcher, as well as one of the Link Cross tokens.
Good card, and not an Earth.
Yep, it's not an Earth. It also does represent at least a negate to some degree, which, I mean, we will see if that matters at all.
We could go into Serb, I guess.
Serb isn't Earth. Oh, Gigantes is another Earth, but he actually banishes an Earth, so you actually don't get an Earth. You don't get an extra Earth here. Okay, so there goes O-Lion and that. So this is Raptite?
Yeah, all right, let's do that whiff.
Let's see it.
It's, I mean, impossible to whiff. Yeah.
There's a Doki Doki, yep, and an Analyzer as well. So
you've already used,
he got lucky. He got lucky a couple times with these whiffs, but
yeah, this one not so much. It was close. Petiteing Sasur, Psyframe Gear Gamma, but and Pankratops.
So now we can fire off Analyzer as well, also under the protection of Hair. We're also under Red Reboot anyway, so it doesn't really matter. There's a Seeker as well.
An actual factual whiff.
Oh, because it has to be a non-tuner, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, and Seeker is the tuner. Yes, you're right.
Wow.
So actually, he whiffed 3 out of 4 times, shockingly.
This is pretty bad luck on the part of the Adamancipator player, as expected going into Nightmare Cerberus, but I hope they're not activating the effect. There's no targets on board. All right,
Now we're going to banish our Earth.
time.
Yep. Something we were hoping to avoid from what we presume to be the reason for the Glass Souffle play here. Here comes Block Dragon. Now we can link off Linkross, Cerberus, and Block Dragon for what is most likely going to be a Appaloosa for 3.
Appaloosa for 3 with my mats. I feel pretty good about this if I'm the
I was about to say,
player.
This isn't like it's still not good. Let's not underscore that.
The next turn, you have it in the bag. You know, you've got Promenade to negate these 3 negates. You've got tons of negation for the Arclight in terms of the traps in the back row, the infinite impermanence for the Appaloosa. I mean,
there's the unknown card as well, which could be something
I think
just to be able to ensure.
I think we know everything. I think it's Infip plus oh, we don't. You're right. There is an unknown.
No, we do not know the card in Appaloosa's column. That was the card that Ghoul could have used in response. But here we go. Seeker going to be active now. Seeker can just go ahead and grab this copy of Gigas off the excavation. So now we've used all of our Adamancipator main monster effects. We're going to sync both these up. Yep. So now this is going to be a very important whiff here, or a very important excavation, excuse me.
So notably, the fresh Sistart can't be returned to the hand because it's under Glass Souffle's protection.
So let's see.
Was that 0?
0 rocks! Oh my god!
I am so sorry. Whatever god you are praying to, you gotta. This is not working.
Oh my god! How many times can he whiff?
What an epic whiff that is. I would be kicking myself.
Of all the excavations that mattered, that was probably the most important. And wow, incredible.
So we can go.
Okay, so
Dragon here. It looks like we're considering. Is there still material? Yeah, because we sent the Seeker. Oof, and
and the Analyzer in hand.
Miserable.
Okay, so there's Block Dragon.
What are we going?
So now we're just gonna get rid of the Block Dragon and this
here. Phoenix.
I mean,
Phoenix.
Maybe pop one of the. Well, you know what 2 of the back rows are, so you can potentially pop Promenade or Imperm, but both represent a negation.
Oh, popping Chateau. I don't know about that one.
Really?
Oh, we know this individual is on 2 Chateau from previous matches, or just moving to the Infip. Like, wait, actually.
Okay, so Infip is gone. Phoenix does get to draw a card because it's co-linked to Appaloosa. Maybe he was just taking a read of Chateau instead of actually wanting that to be the target. Both these players are in a Discord call, so they are communicating with one another. We actually can't see anything in the chat because they're not talking that way.
We can
unless there's like an issue.
They are popping off from the Dragite whiff.
I bet they are.
Rock's not solid. I honestly do think that MADOLCHES is unironically in this.
Okay, so now are we gonna banish another 3 for Block Dragon here?
What? How much do you really want?
I don't think we have a
third Block Dragon.
I don't think we have enough Earths. I think there's only 2.
Banish 2 from hand just to bring out Block Dragon to sit. That doesn't seem very good.
It doesn't. No. We're just gonna go to battle here.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, sure, walk over whatever you want. We're under Chateau.
And so here we go. We're going to go ahead and see this Appaloosa attack into the Sistart here.
Please read
and then
card. It isn't any other card. It includes itself. So,
so
that Hoot Cake back to the hand, that Salon triggered, and that ticket set. This is looking quite bad.
Right, so this is what's difficult. This is what we said about the board being seemingly innocuous, because if any of these cards will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can shuffle a MADOLCHES monster from your graveyard into the deck instead, but then we can add it back to the hand. And so, yeah, this is...
I mean,
do we have any more MADOLCHEs? We have more MADOLCHEs.
Very happy to send the Chocolate a la mode to the graveyard. It's got nothing under it.
So Dragite hits over Chocolate a la mode, and... that's it. I mean, Phoenix can't do anything.
It's too small.
Yep.
I feel like there might have been a way to navigate this turn differently, but you can't help but feel like the Dragite for 0 was the Lichpin play that just lost the game.
Well, to be fair, even that aside, this is one of the strengths of playing a deck like this when people don't expect to be going against this, especially in the top 16 of a tournament like this. Players might players might not be equipped to deal with this type of deck or even understand the interactions of how to play around certain cards. And so when you have these rogue decks or these decks that no one was expecting to come out of the field, then you can actually take advantage of the fact that your opponent doesn't understand what your cards do or how to navigate them correctly, and maybe be able to capitalize and maybe squeak out a win here.
I do like that the art from Chateau is on the field. So we can see right above the Appaloosa, the smuggest Mangeline in the history of time. It's adding a lot to the ambiance.
I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a quick update on some of the other matches taking place in top 16. Dennis Nadas has advanced. He's on Invoke. Now there's Dark Ruler no more! That's going to take out the board!
The end of the game. There's no negation possible. That's it. You don't OTK this turn, but you put them in a position where they can't possibly win.
Yeah, they're going to have 0 resources. And what's even better is that if you even have Glass Souffle as well, you can shuffle back the Earth so that they can't even... You can shuffle back Block Dragon too, so they can't even have Block Dragon. Yeah, I mean, it's just you can clear the board, make it so that they're going to have nothing left. Yeah, you can't kill them this... But to be fair, Jabrel is on 4K life. There could be a potential to be able to do enough damage through that.
I mean, you'd have to do it with exactly Boral Sword, with 5 cards and extra. You'd have to summon 4 times. They all stick. There's a Promenade set 1,000,000%. There's a Solemn Judgment set. Well, activating the Solemn will put you under, but we just won't do that.
Yeah, we're going to see this hoot cake here. Unfortunately, I do have to report that Ismael Sanchez, our dinosaur player, actually lost the game. So Dino is out of the tournament. Corey Sell beat Elise Davis. I think Corey was the other MADOLCHES player. I'm sorry, that was a different bracket. Sorry. No, that was in the lower tier. So Corey Sell beat Elise Davis. Ryan Yu beating Giovanni Vasquez. So that's an Adamancipator advancing.
Corey advancing in the Eldritch Mirror. I'm sure that was a blast.
So, man, I'm just that's all we have to report so far. 4 of the 8 matches in, but our attention is solely now focused on this because this is so exciting. We might see MADOLCHES moving on to top 8 of this weekend championship. Some big prize money on the line here too. We're going to use Hoot Cake to banish a Hoot Cake Engrave to bring out Petting Sessur that effectively can just get everything going. Yes, because Petting Sessur on special summon can bring out a copy of Pudding Cess that gives us 2 level 4s to work with.
2 Pudding Cess? Oh no, getting out Angeli instead.
Angeli here instead. We did have a MADOLCHES player yesterday on 2 Pudding Cess.
Hey,
so
you
to
gotta
be fair,
you gotta do.
Yes, there were some players on 2. Funny enough, I'm not sure if I don't think we featured Ghoul yesterday or if it was another MADOLCHES player, but wow.
Yeah, I have no idea what to say from this position. Let's see.
There's still that back row behind the Angeli that we don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, we'll activate Glass Souffle here. We can shuffle back one of our MADOLCHES along with something in our opponent's graveyard, and I have basically one guess as to what that's going to be.
Yes, I would as well. I do not think Block Dragon's long for this Earth, and it is not. Jabrel saying Dragite for 0, crying face, and the chat of the dueling.
I mean, that's how I would feel in this position too.
Yeah, I would as well.
Oh, putting back the red reboot, he says, you know what, you want to draw the red reboot again? You go for it. With no cards.
I don't know how I feel about that, actually.
Find out what happens.
To be fair, I think that's a bit iffy.
I don't. I think it is completely defensible. You want your opponent to be drawing into anything but extenders, and if they draw into a red reboot at a time where you like have Ticket Salon online, it's just going to be a repeat of last turn.
Yeah, so Ticket being flipped up. Now, this was the power card of MADOLCHES back in the day, like when MADOLCHES was first released. Still a very good card today, but obviously since MADOLCHES has adapted and taken on new forms, it's just... So Queen Tiramisu now coming down. We're going to detach, and now we get to shuffle 2 MADOLCHES into the grave, and also grave into the deck, excuse me, and now shuffle 2 cards onto the field away. So, I mean, at this point, you're just trying to play cleanup.
Yeah. So, Dragite's a pretty good send here, just because there's already a water in the graveyard. Oh, no, wait, I'm thinking of the eggs specifically. You might not even want to send Dragite if you're confident you can walk over it. Appaloosa is a good send, just because it's unlikely they're going to have the resources to go into it again. Herald's a good send because, you know, whatever. And Nightmare Phoenix is a good send because then you can attack.
Right, so I was going to say, you can walk over Appaloosa, so I really don't think that matters all that much. But...
I'm trying to justify every single send. It's going to trigger Ticket. It's going to trigger Salon. I mean, broken.
Yeah, and now once you get these cards in rotation, this is where this deck starts to just steamroll with advantage. This is absurd. So now Salon gets to set another spell and traps. Ticket gets to special summon. Here's Messenger Gelato. Messenger Gelato gets to add another MADOLCHES spell or trap, which at this point you don't even need.
I think we're getting
you could just
Promenade,
get,
yeah. Or
yeah, we're gonna get
Gelato. I don't know what we'd get.
Maybe another copy of Chateau.
It'd be funny if nothing else.
Just to, I mean, I don't even know. I feel like you want to have at least some MADOLCHES engraved to be able to either just ensure that Sistart has fodder or to be able to shuffle back with other effects. But
I was going to say this is a weird position because you want exactly one more Glass Souffle on your side of the field, but a Petit Saussure is another 4 and will be able to enable that play if they so desire.
Okay, so that was our second normal summon, I believe?
Yep, that's the extra from the Salon.
Correct. So, wow, this is a board.
What's the battle? Let's see what happens.
Oh man, I'm gonna go to battle phase here. We're gonna attack over this Appaloosa for 700. Arclight's gonna take some, no damage because of the Dark Ruler no more. We're just gonna go to main phase 2. We're gonna link off the Sistart.
Oh my, hilarious!
Gonna go for. We're just making room.
So funny.
And now we just make another Souffle?
Souffle's pretty good here. Oh, another
another
out of them.
He's used what? One? No, he's only on 2 Glass Souffle. Just making another tiramisu. Okay, well, Jabril on 3 cards here. Nothing engraved that really matters. No Block Dragon engraved. There's 1 Earth. I guess there's a Gigas.
So,
but
well, Pankratops is fine, but doesn't really resolve the problem.
That was his draw for turn because we knew that was in his deck off the whiff off of the Raptite, or the Dragite, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this doesn't really do a whole lot here. If he tries to attack, Sistart can protect. If he tries to pop, sure.
This is the problem with playing against MADOLCHE. It's so difficult to navigate, so difficult to find out where the choke points are, what you should be hitting. But honestly, once they're set up, like, the game kind of is over. The monsters are too sticky, they're too recursive, the boards are just too big. Even though they don't have negates and they look totally unassuming, effectively just vanillas, they're so hard to get rid of, and it's almost impossible to win.
Even if he does get rid of anything, Ghoul will just like plus off of it anyway. So like, even if you even get that far, it doesn't even matter at this point.
Oh, Chad, correct here. The Messenger Gelato that didn't add anything actually missed timing. Hitting the set card we don't know about.
Okay, so we get to see what it is after all this time. We're gonna
judgmenting it. Wow.
Are we wait. Are we judgmenting the
Oh, may have been a miscommunication on our part, and that was the hit.
Oh, okay, right, because it may have, yeah. Because I was going to say, because unless he judged me, it was another copy of Promenade.
It was Promenade. Okay, so we get to fire Promenade here, and of course that negates. Now, Promenade is a hard once per turn, so that second Promenade we have set is going to be dead. This is the last point of interaction, but with 1 card in hand, I kind of feel like that's enough.
And now we also get to, we just get to our Who Cake back to the field anyway.
That'd be what?
Or excuse me, to our hand. Right. I mean, I don't know how Jabril's going to navigate this.
It would have to be Secret Exactly, engineer a scenario in which you can get back to Dragite for 4, and then, even then it's not 4.
Okay, Foolish Burial.
That's crazy.
Even if you send Block Dragon, you don't have enough Earths.
Is that true? Oh my gosh, we're on 2.
And even then, I don't exactly know what you're going to be. Where does that get you? Are you just like trying to play? Even if you try to play defense, you can just shuffle it away with Queen Tiramisu. I don't know how he's going to work his way out of this.
You can go into Almirage, bring back Block Dragon.
Do they play Almirage?
I don't know. I mean, you would have to have Almirage in the 7 cards in your extra deck. Seems unlikely. But...
I was going to say, I don't even think they're on that.
Oh,
They might play like Link Spider for tokens, but you can't use Researcher for that. My God.
This is brutal.
This is... in a way, the GGs!
GG. Oh my gosh, MADOLCHE. about to advance to a top 8.
Jabrail saying in the chat that Ghoul has his endorsement to win this tournament. Jabrail admitting defeat, Ghoul moving on to top 8 with MADOLCHES. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, the hype is real. MADOLCHES is just 3 rounds away from possibly winning the Pro Play Tour Weekend Championship, going home with some huge cash prize money. What an unbelievable game we just witnessed.
Ah, man. I can't do 3 more rounds of this. It's going to kill me. Oh, man. This deck is so cool. It does so little and accomplishes so much against the most consistent and competent combo deck in the format. I mean, could you have asked for a more fun set than that one?
Hey, Joseph.
Yeah?
Guess what?
What?
The other player picked up.
In the top 8.
We have 2 in the top 8 of the Pro Play Tour Weekend Championship. Both of them are on the same side of the bracket, but both of them are going to be playing against non-J opponents. So there is a very high likelihood, ladies and gentlemen, that if both of these MADOLCHES pick up, it is a MADOLCHES mirror in the semis, which guarantees MADOLCHES in the finals.
You tell me we could have a top 4 with 2 MADOLCHES, 1 Adamancipator, 1 Eldritch. Let's go.
Oh my God. Guys, we are going to take a short break. All the matches are in, so top 8 is actually locked at this point. We just want to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back with top 8. MADOLCHES is coming back, baby. We might give some love to the other MADOLCHES player to see what he's on. Don't go anywhere. Get hyped.
Hey, everyone.